Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I recorded. Actually, everything is a little bit delayed because I recorded a view from my window with an Israeli band.
Yep.
In 2008. Basically, after I came here, the first summer I came back to visit. We recorded that album, A View from My Window. So we recorded at the kind of the end of 2008, and I only released it the beginning of 2010.
Okay.
And actually, the second album, which you were talking about, Flowers and Other Stories, recorded in 2009, and probably going to be released in beginning of 2011. So kind of 1 year and a half after the recording.
That's right.
Because usually I'm doing all the even the cover design and other stuff and the album, and I have other projects also and other performances and touring and other stuff going on. So it's kind of a little bit delayed. So on both albums, playing Alon Farber, playing saxophone. He's also recorded some of his stuff in the Spanish company Fresh Sound. And on double bass, Daniel Sapir, and drums is Udi Shlomo. So it's a great band. Now when I was actually touring also Israel and Russia, so I played all the gigs with Udi, the drummer that's on the CD, and the bass player was changes because some bass players were busy, so some Daniel, which is on those CDs, played, and in Russia we played with someone else. But usually I'm trying whenever I'm touring, sometime in Europe or close to Israel, or in Israel, of course, to get the same band that's on the CD. It's kind of a band that's working together probably for the last 4 or 5 years. So most of the time we also we recorded those 2 CDs and also performing the stuff from the CDs, which is nice. Just to tour for 4 or 5 years with the same band. It's really nice.
It is. And you just came back from Israel recently.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago,
something like that.
And you'll be on the road pretty soon, I think in October, right? You're going to Germany?
Yeah. October, I'm going to Germany. It's also going to again feature the people from the Israeli. I call it the Israeli band, or the guys that's recorded. So this is basically one of my bands, I would call it.
Yeah. And you have a band out here too that you work with the great drummer Billy Hart.
Yeah.
You did something in New York a few weeks ago, the Blue Note.
Yeah. That's a real pleasure. Billy Hart. We're working for probably the last 2 years, maybe a little bit more. Performed around Boston. Usually, maybe half of the time it's trio. My trio, basically featuring Billy Hart. Sometimes we do it as a quartet, feature another saxophone player. We did one show with Eli the Jibri. He is the saxophone player for Al Foster band for the last many years now. Played also with Herbie Hancock, and he's also an Israeli guy. So we featured him for one of the shows we had at the Regatta Bar, and actually the Blue Note, the show at the Blue Note, Billy Hart couldn't make it, so I did take other great people. Ziv Ravitz, a drummer nowadays, I think, if I'm not mistaken, playing with Lee Konitz.
Oh yeah.
He made it to the show. Drums, and Will Winson, a saxophone player, both from New York. So I did a quartet for this one. But with Billy, we also just recently, in June, we performed at DC Jazz Festival at the Twins Jazz in DC, and at Andim Music. It's a club in Baltimore. So that was with Billy Hart, and we're actually planning now a tour in Israel for February And this one's going to be with Billy Hart and Craig Handy on saxophone.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be something like a week of performances, kind of all over touring Israel for 1 week in February.
And
so.
As we were talking on the way up here, Billy played the Red Sea Jazz Festival.
Yeah. Billy's fine. I mean, Billy played in Israel, a bunch of times. I mean, from Red Sea Jazz Festival in Eilat, he played that, I think at least twice, if not more. Probably, before my time even. He might play there. And he played the Tel Aviv Jazz Festival, and he played other places that I don't even remember,
Right.
So yeah, he was there, and he was everywhere.
Yeah, he has been
He
everywhere.
played.
Huh?
Yeah.
And in your background, you grew up playing like the rock jazz, the rock stuff, listening to rock guitars initially when you were a lot younger.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I started probably like many other students, just kind of, I don't know how to call it, general music, just like a little bit rock songs, a little bit pop songs, a little bit, folk songs, a little bit classical,
Right.
just learning the instrument, learning the guitar with the teacher. So play, 2 songs of the Beatles, 1 Bach composition, and maybe 1 like a Spanish type of song, just learning. But later I got into rock music, playing kind of lead rock guitar, Steve Vai or Joe Satriani, Ray Malmsteen, or
Right. Yeah.
all those guys. That was when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
At some point, I just, I learned and memorized all those solos and all those, running the guitar and doing all that stuff. At some point, it wasn't that appealing anymore. You grow up a little bit, and I was like, okay, that's nice. But,
Right. Then you heard Pat Metheny, and that kind of changed the way you played.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, the change by listening to Pat Metheny, which is, I think, for people who come from other backgrounds, not from jazz, it's pretty easy to connect to Pat Metheny. I think then, I don't know, to A Love Supreme by Joel Coltrane. The Pat Metheny is more like a little bit easy to listen to. So I started listening to Pat Metheny, and from there actually I started going back in time and listening to Wes Montgomery or Joe Pass or Doug Rainey, or that's the list of guitar players. But then also went back and like Bill Evans, and started getting from one player to another, and then I don't know if that was the order, but like Bill Evans, and then Charlie Parker, and then Coltrane, and then Miles and Wayne Shorter, and then I started going actually from back in time, kind of to 2000 again, and kind of other guitar player like Kurt Rosenwinkel or Michael Brecker on saxophone, or ECM recording, or Keith Jarrett, or Kenny Garrett. So eventually, but from this point, I discovered Pat Metheny. So I started going back and forth in time of all those recordings, and discover all the artists I know today. The list is endless, like Sonny Rollins and Hank Mobley, and just endless. Still discovering more and more CDs, every day.
So you would, post-bop guitar type of player, is that what you kind of have become?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Because you have influences in both musics, bop and post-bop.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. I would say I have influences by bop and post-bop, and modern music and modern music, and I just see it as music. I mean, and also I have some Israeli influences. If it's just proud of. You know what.
So
I
it'd be
grew up
more
with.
like a Israeli folk music. Is that kind of?
I mean,
not
so
really.
it's all mixed. You know,
Yeah,
it's all mixed. So